Hello and welcome to the video. My name is Janelle and I have a fun little project today. We're going to be making puff stitch flowers, and if you haven't done a puff stitch before, I posted a video tutorial last week on how to do the puff stitch, so go and check that out before watching this video. So I'm actually going to show you a couple of different methods for how to do this. I'm going to be starting with a 6-petal puff stitch flower. And I'm going to be using the chain 3 method to start the stitch. So we're going to be starting out the flower by making a magic ring. And if you're not familiar with that technique, I do have a tutorial on the channel for how to do that. So I'm going to do a magic ring with 6 single crochet. And then to start the first stitch, I'm just going to do a slip stitch in the first stitch here, and then do a chain 3, and then in the same stitch, I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over and draw through a loop, and I'm going to just pull my loop until it's the same height as my chain 3, and then I'm going to do that 3 more times. So yarn over, insert in the same stitch, yarn over, draw through a loop, pull it up to the same height, and then twice more. Then I'm going to yarn over and then draw through all of the loops on my hook, do a chain to close off the stitch, and then I'm going to do another chain 3, and then do a slip stitch through the next stitch. So we're just going to repeat that all the way around until we have 6 petals. So chain 3 to start, yarn over, insert through the same stitch as your chain 3, draw through a loop, and pull that up to the same height, and then 3 more times. So each puff stitch should have 9 loops on your hook when you finish. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then to finish off, we just yarn over, draw through all of the loops, and do a chain. And then we'll chain 3. And then slip through the next stitch. So I'm just going to continue that all the way around until our flower is finished. Okay, so I'm finishing off the last petal now. So just a chain to close the stitch, and then one last chain 3, and then I'm just going to slip into the first stitch. and then snip off the end of my yarn and pull that through. So at this point, the flower doesn't look super puffy, but that's because the puff stitch is actually worked on the wrong side of your project. So if we flip it over, our flower looks a lot puffier. So this will actually be the front of the flower, even though it's the back of what we worked. So I'm just gonna pull my tail through the middle so that it's at the back and just tighten up my magic ring. And then that's the first flower done. So with this version, you can see that you've got an outline of stitches around, since we did a chain 3 at the start and end of each stitch. So that's one method of doing a puff stitch flower. And if you do flowers with 6 petals like this, you can make a bunch of them and stitch them together and basically use it as a fabric. So you could make a blanket or a bag or anything you can dream up, really. So it's pretty versatile and you can get really creative with it. So that is method number 1. And for our second style, I'm actually going to do just 5 petals rather than 6. So again, starting the same way, just magic ring, only we're going to do 5 single crochet instead of 6. So again, I'm going to do a slip stitch into the first stitch. But from here, instead of doing a chain, I'm just going to pull up my loop a little bit. And then from here, I'm going to do it the same way. So I'm just going to yarn over, insert my hook into the same stitch, yarn over again and draw through a loop, and just pull up my loops so that they're all the same height as the first one. And then do that 3 more times. And then I'm going to yarn over and draw through all of my loops. And then I'm just going to chain to close off the stitch. And then we're going to chain once more and then start the second stitch. So it's yarn over, insert through the next stitch, yarn over and draw through a loop, and just pull that up so that it's approximately the same height as the first stitch. And then again, just do that 3 more times. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, drop a loop. 3, 4, and again, yarn over, draw through all of your loops, do a chain to close off your stitch, and then 1 more chain, and then we'll just keep going like that. So for the third puff stitch, again, we're yarning over, insert through the next stitch, yarn over, draw through a loop, and pull up to the same height. Then to finish, yarn over, draw through all your loops, and then chain twice. So then to finish off our flower, I've done my chain 2, and then I'm just going to slip through the first chain that we did at the top of our first stitch. Trim off the end of my yarn and then pull that through. And then again, we're going to be turning this over. So same as I did last time, I'm going to pull the end of our yarn through the middle of our flower and pull that tight. And then the front of our flower is going to be what was the back. So that's what we end up with. And if you wanted the petals to be a little further apart, you could do chain 3 in between each of them rather than chain 2. So chain 2 does pull it in a little bit, so it makes your petals smaller, but it does make them look puffier as well. So it just depends on what kind of look you're going for. And this way you don't see the stitches around the edge like you do in this one. You're mostly just seeing the puff stitch itself. So there you have it, 2 different methods for doing a puff stitch flower. Please leave a comment down below letting me know which one is your favorite and what you're going to be making with your flowers. I hope you enjoyed this little project. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you again soon. Bye.